What's up, guys? Planet Weather Gaming here, and today we're going to be doing a speed build of building the hotel that will be connected to my Ocean Springs theme park I'm currently working on. Now, building hotels and Planet Coaster is rather simple. It just takes a lot of time to do a good job. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so as you can see here, basically what I'm doing is I am going to put a restaurant inside of my hotel. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just placing the restaurant expansion buildings. I'm changing the menu to format it. Really, I didn't do anything special. I just kind of did a typical theme park menu. So right here, what you see going on is I'm basically building the hotel and all the expansions. I'm going to add more expansions later and all that. So basically what I'm doing at this point is I'm just kind of starting to create the outside structure of the hotel. As you can see, I'm kind of thinking we're going to do like a tropical theme, and we'll see later on how the video or the building kind of changes more into a tropical theme as it goes up. So what I basically use for the first floor in the lobby area where the restaurant is I just use the more of the fancy walls there, and then basically I'm just constructing using the standard smooth concrete flooring to go ahead and create the layers in between the different floors. And you'll see here kind of on the outside facing the pier and the boardwalk area, I'm going to do a balcony room type setup to where every single room is going to be a balcony. So you can see here I'm just kind of placing additional like doors and stuff, adding more to the first floor. And I'm going to create a nice border right there. Just kind of used the one of the borders that was in the game already. And I'm just going to kind of go ahead and add all that in at that point. And then we're just going to add more rooms. And we're going to add more rooms slowly as we progress throughout the construction of the hotel. But obviously, just add rooms, and then you just go ahead and go to your hotel foyer and connect all those rooms up to your hotel foyer. It's very simple. So right here, you can see I'm doing the painted wooden walls. I basically did a white and yellowish color. And then here's kind of the construction of the second floor to where the rooms are going to start with the balconies and everything. And I'm doing kind of like a yellow color. You'll see that the second floor is currently a white color, but I'll change that here in a second to yellow. And so basically all I'm doing, and this is really simple for building a hotel. You can do a hotel however you want to. The rooms don't actually have to, like the legitimate rooms that the guests are actually going to be staying in don't have to be where you would expect them to be in a hotel. They can just be stacked on top of one another inside the building like I'm doing here. Really the outside part is just for aesthetics and to make it look nice and everything of that nature. So, as you can see, I'm just using the Roman columns here that came with the base game. All that, and then we're just going to add some standard park fencing, make it look all nice, make it look like an actual hotel and not so much of a jail. That's the problem I have when I build hotels, and especially in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I did try to build a couple hotels, even though that wasn't actually officially part of the game. And what ended up happening is it kind of looked more like a jail instead of a hotel. So I'm just trying to avoid that there. And I'm kind of trying to build like nice railings, nice columns, and stuff like that, so that way it looks better. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna add some windows here. I'm watching this like after the fact. I went ahead and sped all the videos up that I created, and I'm just watching this after the fact. So I don't know off the top of my head what a lot of these different doors and windows are called, but you can find them really easily in the game. You can kind of see where they are in the game based on what you see on the screen right now and all that. Now for the hotel windows, I did use the ones that light up at night, just to kind of give it that extra aesthetic feel, especially when at night when the park's all lit up and everything. The hotel's not just dark and all that. So basically we're just kind of doing the final touches there. And then this is really important what I'm doing right now. I'm going through and basically highlight every single individual item on the hotel, like on the first, second floor. Yes, I know it takes a while, but then if you hit duplicate, you can just kind of stack them on top of each other, and you can really go ahead and save a lot of time by doing that. Now, for some reason, the fences in this case did not copy over with the rest of the building. It's fine. So I had to place the fences all separately, but it's not a big deal because it really doesn't take that much time, especially once. Because what was going to take the most amount of time was go ahead and adding all the floors in, but being able to duplicate 2 floors at a time, that obviously did not take very long. So what we're just seeing here is we're just kind of going through and we're adding fencing, more like railings, but it's fencing inside the game. We're just using the small fencing because I know that this type of fencing, it's split up in 2 different types. You have the tall one, they have the short one. I'm using the short one. I'm painting it white for this. Okay, so we're just kind of going through right now and adding all that. And then here in a second, you're going to go ahead and see where we go to the other side of the hotel and kind of add a roof and everything. So the other side of the hotel is going to look a little bit different. It's not going to be the balcony only. That was just because the fact you're facing the theme park, and those are obviously being more expensive rooms in real life. And I want to try and make this as realistic as possible. But granted, this is my first build of a hotel in this game, and my first theme park build. There may be some things that kind of doesn't either look realistic or just doesn't look like a good job was done on it, but that's only because I'm still brand new to the game. I'm still trying to figure out how everything works with the game and stuff. So kind of remove that wall on the back side, because you'll see here in a second I'm going to expand it, and we're going to start construction on the other side. So we're going to just add that border all around like we did on the front side to make it look all even, symmetrical, regardless of which side you go on, adding those borders. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stack up more hotel rooms. Now, I am wanting to fill up all 100 slots. I believe I filled up 98 or 99 of them at the end of all this. But basically, I went ahead and did a ratio of like 15 or 16 luxury rooms, and the rest of them were just standard rooms, because I felt like not very many people were going to do the luxury ones. So here you're just seeing I'm constructing the other side of the hotel. I did a couple balcony rooms, and you'll see those little indentions right there, how the it kind of indents into the hotel a little bit, and that's where the balcony rooms are going to be. We're just going to kind of stack those up all the way, and then all around it's just going to be standard hotel rooms, just with windows. So you can see here we're just doing the same thing we did on the other side, just in a small scale version. It's only one little room without it being going up, instead of it spreading out to the right and left. So we're just going up here, constructing up all of the hotel rooms on top of one another. And there's a lot of trial and error involved with this, because especially you don't know exactly like if you're making it even. The nice thing about it is you really want to make it even to make it look like really good. So I'm having to do this where I'm building like that little wall to the left of the building, but it's all going to be deleted once I get it all even and everything, like as you can see here. So continuing, we just repainted it to white, just kind of give it a little bit of a different color to give the hotel more pop, so it's not just a yellow building. Okay. And then basically we're just making sure everything's level here, making sure all the windows are nicely put together, make sure it's all even, straightening up all the doors to go onto the balconies and whatnot. So really, everything once you get started building the game is very straightforward. If you haven't really played Planet Coaster before, you're very new to it, I will tell you right now, it doesn't take a lot of time to learn the game. It's very straightforward. Once you really get to know like the 3D terrain texturing and all of the 3D modeling with like the buildings and creating the buildings and moving them around with advanced rotate and whatnot, it really becomes second nature and just easy to do across the board. So as you can see here, how I'm just adding the railings to the hotel. And then we're going to start building the walls on the other side of the hotel. And this is just going to be where the standard rooms are without the balconies. You'll see here in a second. And you may be wondering like, hey, I really want to go ahead and do it right the first time and not have to delete a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, deleting stuff is okay. It's part of the building process. As you can see here, I've deleted a bunch of stuff and rebuilt in its place. And you'll see in a second, I'm going to delete some of that wall to go ahead and create another like tower, if you would, of the hotel. So right here you see I'm adding the luxury rooms and some more regular rooms. And I'm just going to add all those to the hotel foyer. And then basically that's where my 100 rooms are going to come from. So now that I've got all 100 rooms in there, it's ready to be opened up to the guests of the park. And we're just going to keep building the hotel on the outside. Now, much like rides with the queue lines, you do get a scenery rating. So I believe the hotel is at 100% once I was all set and done with this. So you do want to make sure it's at 100% so your prestige goes up with it. And that way then you can go ahead and charge more for the rooms and obviously make more money if you're not doing sandbox. I am doing sandbox for this park because I was just interested more in the creativity of building the park rather than the money and park management aspect of it. So every month I am losing a little bit of money, but I'm not really too worried about pricing and all that at this point. I'm just kind of playing the game for creating a park and having fun. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm adding the windows now to the other side, making sure it's all leveled up with the balconies and everything. Make sure it's all the way up to the top floor. Okay. And then you'll also notice I did add the roof. I kind of went like that tropical California type roof for most of the park because the park's going to be set up in 2 different phases. We're going to have kind of the deserted island pirate themed on the left side, and then we have the pier and boardwalk on the right side, as you can see here kind of. And once I get done with the park in its entirety, I'll go ahead and release a good video that goes through a detailed walkthrough of the park. I'm going to kind of go through and explain stuff, and then we're just going to kind of have some music playing in the background while we just kind of do a broad tour of the park, if you would. So right here you can see is where I was talking about deleting some things and adding the other tower. Basically doing the same method I did with the other one, we just kind of copy and pasted a bunch of wall sections and everything to go ahead and create everything quite quickly and whatnot. And now, like I said, if you don't know how to do that, basically you just select the building and then you hit edit selected part, and then you just hold down your shift key and you just keep clicking every little piece that you want selected, and then you just hit duplicate, and then you can go ahead and duplicate it over to another section. So it's very easy and very straightforward. You can also do the advanced move and rotate, so maybe you have a little bit more control if you're not wanting to move it very much or want to duplicate it really close by. But for the purposes of this hotel, I used just the duplicate function by itself, and it worked out just fine. So as you can see here, I'm building kind of the lobby area. I really want most of the lobby area to be inside the hotel, and all that. So what I'm doing here is kind of like a little bit of a lobby outlet, and then that is going to be where the cars are going to come over and do their loading and unloading of your luggage and everything when you check in, and all that. So that's basically what that is right there. I will get into more details of like the lighting and everything here in a second, but for right now, we'll do the lighting last. Right now, I'm just kind of doing the construction of the hotel, the lobby area, and all that. So you can see here, the biggest frustration I would say I have with building buildings in this game so far is when you're building those like borders up at the top by the ceilings and all that. It's kind of a little bit difficult to make everything line up perfectly so that way it's not an issue. So that was the biggest frustration I'm coming across. Otherwise, everything kind of lines up perfectly, everything works out perfectly. So as you can see here, this is where I'm doing the lighting, and I'm doing the road now, kind of going around the hotel, and kind of going to the parking area. I really wanted to restructure the parking lot, and I may do that before I actually get done with the park and release that video. But for right now, it's kind of weird. You have to go through the parking area, which I know at Disney World, to go to the Magic Kingdom Resorts, you used to have to do that, go through the parking toll booths to get to the hotels, but they've changed that recently. So I'm going to try to reconfigure the parking lot without changing too much, to where you can just kind of go to the hotel without having to go through the parking toll booth in that fashion. So basically for the parking lot here, I just kind of extending it out from the theme park parking lot, kind of adding to it. And all you simply do here is just use your standard walls, paint them white, and then you can just go ahead and kind of put them below ground a little bit to where just the top part's sticking up, and then you have basically your typical parking spots and all that. Now you can add cars to them later on, but I do believe you need to have the movie expansion pack to create like movie scenes and all that, which I do have, and I probably will do that before completing the park. So right here, this is going to be where I'm working on the pool area, kind of the resort activities area, here in a second once I get done with the parking lot in its entirety. So the hardest challenge at this point is kind of making the terrain even, because I'm going to go ahead and post another video on how to create a swimming pool. You're going to see here in a second I'm going to create a swimming pool in this video, but I'm going to put a link in the description below of the tutorial on how to create the swimming pool in real time, so it's not going to be sped up or anything. And the only problem I have with the game in this case is that, unlike Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, where you had Stoked Expansion Pack and you could go ahead and actually create a water park that the peeps would use, you cannot do that in this game, which sucks, but you can create a pool for aesthetic purposes, which is exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so all you see here is I'm kind of dividing off the parking area and the parking lot tram from the hotel by putting another fence up. This is the tall version of that fence that I showed you just a second ago. And then we're just going to add a bunch of palm trees because this is a tropical themed theme park. The setting's going to be in a tropical setting, I don't really have like a specific location picked out for it yet. I probably will do that before the release of the park. But basically, I'm just adding fencing and all that at this point, and trees and scenery. So concerning what expansion packs I've used so far in this game, I've used everything that I have, which is a Venture pack. I have no, I don't have Vintage. I'm trying to think what all I have. I know I have Venture, I just downloaded it. And I have some other ones in addition to the base game, obviously. So I will post a link or a list in the description of all the expansion packs I have for the game so far. So basically here's where I'm starting to work on the resort area and the back part of the hotel where the pool's going to be. I'm doing like a little bit of, if you go to like a nice resort, you'll see like they have like s'more pits and fire pits and everything. And that's basically what that is right there. I just kind of a campfire with a little bit of a seating area. A nice little walking trail kind of out back so you can kind of do a leisurely walk without having to go into the park or anything like that. So here we're just kind of outlining the area in which we will do the pool with a fence. And that's going to be our back area. Now, I want to make this the setup to where you could actually access the theme park from the hotel, which that's kind of what that area off to the right side is, to the right of the restaurant. That's where you can go and go down to the theme park without having to go to the hotel, or to the main entrance, if you would. Now, right here, you notice this is where I'm making the swimming pool. I know this is really fast motion, and you probably aren't understanding exactly what I'm doing, but like I said, the link is in the description below about how to do this in real time in slow motion. So that way you can go and create a swimming pool on yourself. Now the biggest issue I found with swimming pools, I really would like to do a freestyle pool, kind of like what you see at like resorts, but this game just doesn't allow for the types of walls you can put up, because basically what you're doing is you're just creating walls and a floor, and then that's just another roof right there, the pool deck. So that's basically all you're doing. And there are some limitations with that, like you can't, I haven't found a way where you could go ahead and use it to make a freeform pool. It's just kind of a square pool, just a standard pool, which I didn't really want to do for this because I wanted to make it really nice, but I had to do what I could work with. So basically here is where I'm just kind of going through making the pool deck, adding the scenery now to the pool deck. I didn't find, there may be something in the Steam Workshop where I can, I'll see that later on, but I did not add any like pool furniture to the pool deck, which I really wish I could, but there's nothing in the game that you really can use. The only thing I found was like a director's chair, and obviously you didn't really want to use that. So I'm just kind of going through now, and I'm kind of putting in the small fencing around the pool, your safety fence for the pool, just what you would typically see in a real setting. Kind of adding some scenery here, some rocks, adding trees to make it kind of like in the middle of nowhere. What I really wanted to get at here was kind of like a oasis, a getaway from everything else. So I kind of want to put a lot of trees and shrubbery up to kind of block everything out from the pool area to make it as if you were actually like in the Caribbean or something. Obviously if you look up in real life, you would see the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel. You can in this situation if you like pan the camera down to the ground by the pool, but obviously that's how it would be in real life. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of putting a poolside bar in, not necessarily a tiki bar, kind of more like a pool grill, if you would. So we're just kind of doing that right now using the wooden panel walls, and then the smooth concrete posts with the sandstone railings, or not the railings, but the whatchamacallits. And then we're just kind of building the roof with the straw roof there, kind of giving more of that tropical Caribbean feel for the restaurant. And then here we're going to add, now I will add this at this point. This is not something that the guests will actually be able to access. I may add a path for them to be able to access in the future, but I'm not going to actually put a restaurant or any sort of shops in there quite yet, because the fact I just want to make sure that the guests will actually be able to access it before I would. So the final touches to the hotel in the back area where the pool is just kind of lighting. We're adding some lighting to the pool. I wanted to make sure that the lighting was below the water to make it look more realistic. I really wish the water could have been put all the way up to the top of the pool, but for some reason there were some issues getting it to work like that. So it's kind of halfway, which doesn't really look realistic. It kind of looks like the pool is being drained for maintenance, but that's okay. So I'm just kind of adding a bunch of lights everywhere to kind of give it an aesthetic feel. So you can see it looks nice there. adding some lights to the pool bar and the grill. And these are just the final touches before we complete the build. So basically, that's, as you can see, it's really all there is to it. I'm just adding your signs now. And then right here that you see is the completed product. Not really much to it. It's just a basic hotel with a nice back area for you to go ahead and like relax in and stuff like that. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell to see any of my future videos and to make sure you get notified that they're there. And I will see y'all in the next video, and that should be the completion of Ocean Springs.